Intuition is today's topic. This wonderful windy Wednesday. Hello everybody, Cheryl Anderson here. This is something that it gets discussed a lot. It's something that's a little not always understood. Hi Justin, hi Scott, thanks for joining. Now, intuition, as much as a lot of people think, and I discovered this when I was younger, I heard people talk about intuition was something women had and egos was something men had, which was a bit weirdo. However, as I grew older and learned, I realized everybody has intuition, right? It's this voice inside of us. It's actually encompassed in our spirit, I think, in our soul. And what it is, it's the part of us that transcends this funny little meat suit world that we plug around in every day. Now, intuition, I can tell you flat out, it is an absolute bloody godsend when you start to tune into it and realize, okay, this is like not a barometer, like a compass, an internal compass for heading in the direction or taking the steps or moving towards something that is in your better interest, something that's going to keep you safe, or something that's going to add to your next step in the future, right? Now, when I went through a period where I wondered, was I hearing my intuition? Okay, there was one time when my son was much younger. I'll give you an example. He'd gone to stay at a friend's place. He was about maybe 13 at the time. And he was meant to be at the friend's place. And that's where they were staying, that night. I think it was Friday night. Now, I'm at home and, I'm a protective mother. I wasn't crazy about it, though. I mean, I wasn't like a nut job mother. And I was at home and I kept having this real niggly feeling, this... in my solar plexus, right, in that bit just below your ribs. And it didn't stop. It was this thing. I had to get up. I had to get moving. Hi, Lois. Hi, Yvonne. Thanks for joining. Now, what I did was all I could think about was Dean, my son, and this gnawing feeling. And so I thought, I just got to get in my car and go. So I did, and I went to the place where I dropped him off that day, and he was meant to be staying there with the friend and the friend's uncle, I think, if I remember correctly. Now, what had happened, now we've all been kids and told fibs to our parents and did other things instead of what we said we were doing, okay? So this is nothing unusual. He was just a normal kid. So I get there, and it's not the worst part of town, but it's certainly not the part of a suburb where you don't really want your child out and about Friday night around adults that have no care or love or attention for your child, right? So I drive all the way over, and the feeling started to ease a little the closer I got. Well, what should happen? I drive down the road and I'm going to head up one road and around to get to the house where he is, and I see him and his friend and I think a couple of his friend's cousins heading down the hill towards this pub, like a hotel, I think you call them a hotel everywhere. So what my gut was trying to tell me was, your son is heading for, I don't even want to think what he was heading for. God only knows, maybe drama, maybe not. But this feeling was so intense that I still to this day know that I nipped whatever in the bud by going and doing this. So anyway, I drive around the corner and here they are walking down the road, and here I drive up the road. I stopped. I was shaking. I was so angry at him for not doing what he'd said he would do and stay in that house. In hindsight, I realised he's just a kid. He was, stretching his wings and being naughty like we all do. So anyway, that was intuition. That was something telling me there's something wrong. You need to... Now, what I did, I quietened down enough to realise, I thought, okay, what is this feeling? And immediately he jumped into my mind. So I'm like, okay, feeling, son, I need to get to my son. So as time went on, I started to give over to this feeling and tried to listen to it more. All right. Now, what it took was I had to slow down the crap in my head and stop participating in so many ridiculous thoughts. It just go round and round and round and round. It's just like fluffy chat in your head. And start to allow places where there was no thought to happen, right? Now, what happens then is, I'll be driving and I'll know to move out of one lane into another. I don't question it anymore. I just do it. Guaranteed, a few minutes up the road, there'll be someone trying to turn right and they're holding up all the traffic and everyone's stuck behind them. Yet I'm already over here and I just sail on by. I mean, it's as small as this and as simple as this. However, intuition will kick in your life at times when it's of great importance or great danger, or maybe you've been working on something and relying on things to work the right way so that, you want this serendipitous thing to happen with good timing. Your intuition will kick in and it sends you messages that always come in your gut. And I can tell you right now, I caught my ego trying to tell me things and my higher self trying to tell me things. And I had a point in time where I thought, well, shit, who am I going to believe? How am I going to believe it? Until one day I realised intuition is way faster than ego, right? So the first thing into your mind, the very, very, very first thing that hits you is your intuition, is your higher self. The ego is way too slow. I mean, it might be just a nanosecond slower, but it's slower. So you can guarantee the second thought was ego, the first thought was your intuition. So if you understand and imagine this, you have this guidance system inside of you that requires nothing from anybody else in your life, not a thing, not from your parents, your friends, your partner, your pets, nothing. It is in you and it has been in you since you were born. All it is there to do is to facilitate an easier, quicker life, or a quicker, not quicker life. You don't want that to be too quick, do you? Me, I'm trying to slow that one down. But what it'll do is it helps you to steer your way through what you would call it the unknown, okay? So I've had that situation. I mean, another example, I was up the street from where I lived years ago, and I was walking along and I found a watch, a very old watch. There was no band on it. It had obviously broken. Hi, Roy. Hi, Megan. Thanks for joining. Now, as soon as I picked this watch up, now I think there's a bit of a fine line between intuition and telepathy, because I think they're all of those, the higher senses that we don't use while we're plodding around, bumping into walls, scratching our butt, eating, doing our mono, person thing. I'm talking about the higher senses, right? These are the ones that we're evolving into, and it's not uncommon anymore. People are into this all the time. Now, I picked this watch up, and immediately I picked it up. I saw the picture of this house around the corner that had all these beautiful, I don't remember the names of it's a beautiful shrub with these gigantic, stunning flowers. Anyway, I knew it, and I thought, should I walk around there? But because I asked the question instead of just doing it, then the ego came in and said, oh, no, it's not there. It won't be at that house. Take it home and put signs up. Make signs and put them everywhere. And you can get the watch back to the person. So really what had happened is I didn't listen to my higher self or my intuition, and I plugged along following silly ego, which was much slower and much more, well, I waited. I didn't do it straight away. I think it took me a couple of weeks, and I thought, man, I've got to do this. So I made the signs, and I was walking back up the road from my house. It was maybe 1 kilometre away. And I'm sticking these signs on telephone poles and feeling really good that I finally got off my ass to take this. And this watch, I forgot to say, the back of the watch, I can't remember what it said, to my love. And it was dated 1915, right? So I knew this watch had sentimental value bigger than Jupiter, right? So the push in me to get this back to the owner was quite great. Anyway, so as I'm walking up and I get close to right near where I found the watch, and I thought, you know what? I'm just going to that house. So I did. Hi, Fire. How you doing? Thanks for joining. So I walked around feeling a bit silly. It took me maybe 3 minutes. I walked around. As soon as I got to the gate, I felt this urge to cry. And I thought, isn't that odd? That's a bit weird. And as I went in, I knew it was elderly people lived there. You know, you can tell their houses. So I walked up and I knocked on the door, feeling really a bit silly, but then thinking, you know, follow this. This is, 20 years ago now. And a lady came to the door. She was quite old and she kept the screen door shut. And I said, hello, my name's Cheryl. You might think this is a bit weird, but I found a watch. And I told a little bit more of the story. As I was trying not to cry, it was the weirdest thing. I kept having this eruption of this. And it was the energy that would have been expelled had I taken the watch around as soon as I found it, right? So anyway, I'd said, you know, I found this watch. She opened the screen door and said, and she was in tears. She had lost that watch when she'd come home from somewhere in the city and she was walking around from the train station to her house and the watch fell off. And it was actually her mother's watch. Her father had given it to her mother. And she'd rang the railways, she'd rung the police, everything. And here it was, and here was this girl came to the door with her watch. And I said, I'm so sorry because I found this weeks ago and I didn't listen to my intuition. I could have had it here 2 weeks ago. So anyway, that was monumental as far as proof to me that higher self, intuition, telepathy, whatever you want to call it, any of the senses, higher senses. So then I started really thinking about it, and things like I'd walk around and there's my alarm. We're just going to listen to it for a minute. It's telling me I've got to go to the chiropractor. Things like, anyway, serendipitous things. So intuition is, I put it in the explanation here. It's a really unusual thing to explain to people, but it is in every one of us, like I said. If you can quieten yourself down and not have this hurried thought all the time, which brings around hurried emotions and hurried, because we're constantly emotionally buying into all the bullshit. Oh, this person did that, or whatever. You can even do it reading Facebook, where somebody posts something you don't like, or you think, you know, oh, that's rubbish, or that's cruel, or that's mean, and suddenly you're into it emotionally. So the thing is to be able to withdraw emotionally from things that really have nothing to do with you. It's ridiculous. Then you have a clearer place for yourself to actually hear your higher self and to hear your intuition, your words, your wisdom that's guiding you. And as weird as it is, it could be small things. I remember once walking past a rubber band in my lounge room and I just had this thought of pick it up. I mean, it's not what your brain says. It doesn't say, Cheryl, pick up the rubber band. So I just picked it up and put it on my arm and kept walking. And I walked into the kitchen and I actually was doing something that I needed a rubber band. Do you know what I mean? Like, this is how cool it can be when you listen to it. So that's why I wanted to talk about intuition today, because I think we're steering to a point in human evolution where these things are going to be a day-to-day regular guidance system for us. Instead of, like I said, just living life bumping into walls, scratching our bums, we'll have a much more precise guidance system to help us navigate smaller things in our lives. Like, you know, like I said, driving in the traffic was one. You know, I would know if I get a sense to drive this way, I don't question it, I just go. And invariably, I get to see the commotion or the whatever that I've avoided by simply listening to my higher self. Everyone has one. Children have it. Children like are really, really supervived. Hi, Kim. But, you know, we dumb them down through the schooling system and our funny social ridiculousness, you know, that we go through. Don't do this, don't do that. So kids are going through it all the time. So how about try to clear your thoughts? When you feel that thing in your gut, in your solar plexus, that's it's directing you to something, to do something, say something, complete something, add to something, help someone. I don't know, whatever it is. It'll all be individual for everybody. But trust me, it's the most amazing, magical thing that you have ever found inside of yourself. Well, that's not true. Maybe not. Maybe you found, lots of things. This chair is a bit uncomfortable. So try to listen to it. Read the description of it. I haven't put much of my own information in the description today. But again, try it. Teach your kids. Talk about it. Discuss these things. They're really important, and they're much better than, all the slim, ridiculous crap that most people waffle on about, which really doesn't. And I'm not saying that's bad. That's not. But it's a bit of a waste of time at times. So try your intuition. And look, if you, and yes, Kim, you're right. Yes, your intuition is always right. Men have it. Men have it. If you've only just chimed into the video now, men have intuition. Every single human has it, regardless of gender, regardless of political correctness or political, like who you like and don't like. But that's all BS. All of that stuff's just BS. This is the beautiful part of yourself. So try it, see how you go, talk with people, let it come out. You'll really, really be buzzed. You'll giggle. It's a pretty cool thing. So anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. If you like my videos, it'd be really cool if you could share them for me. That would be lovely. If you want to watch any of my other videos, they're much easier to find on my YouTube channel instead of in Facebook, because I'm on a personal account doing this and it's much harder to find them on my page. Anyway, so over there at YouTube, they got it. So I'll see you again on Friday, everybody. Thank you for coming in. Yes, you knew I'd talk about the watch. Yes, well, that was pretty cool. Anyway, thank you, everybody. I'm going to go. It's 17 minutes. So much for my 3-minute video today. All righty, take care, everybody. Have a really great Wednesday, and I'll be here again on Friday to talk about something that I think about Friday morning and decide to put in my live videos. And a new thing I'm launching, you'll see, it's called La Laville. It's just I'm not quite sure of the format yet, but it's going to be a show for women, about women. I'm going to interview people. I'm not quite sure of the format yet, but who says putting the cart before the horse is the wrong way to do things? So anyway, hang in there. Thank you, everybody, and I'll see you again on Friday. Take care now.